Welcome to a Magic the Gathering Arena video. My name is November Lima, and we are back to cycling. Feels like a long time ago when Ikoria dropped, cycling was all over the place, incredibly strong, very obnoxious to a lot of people, but very, very, very strong, and it is back, mainly due to the meta that is currently developing, or has developed, if you will. I don't know if it truly has, because it's very fluctuating of what deck is up top. So there's a lot of aggro, and then there's some really greedy decks, and cycling is here to take advantage of that. So the only cycling deck I've recorded in the past was a Mardu list that I enjoyed a lot. I enjoy that version better than this one. However, this one is much stronger in the current meta. So let's go over the list here. This is pretty well straightforward what you'll see every Jeskai list being right now. There's not a lot of difference. Companion will be Lurrus. Quite often you won't necessarily want to bring things back that have cycling attached to them, which is our entire deck, but it might be one of those where you're running out of threats and it'd be nice to bring one back to start stacking counters on again or create tokens. Otherwise, it is just a 3-2 lifelinker, which is also not something to ignore. The main creatures or payoffs here are Flourishing Fox and Valiant Rescuer. Those are your main aggro creatures. Flourishing Fox because it can get really, really big, and Valiant Rescuer because it can put a lot of tokens on the board. Anytime you cycle, first time each turn, it creates a 1/1 token. Drannith Stinger is also nice to just ping at your opponent every time you cycle. And then we got the Improbable Alliance, and that's the main reason to play Jeskai, is to really go wide with your fairies. Zenith Flare is your main damage dealer here, where you can do damage equal to the cycling cards in your graveyard, which racks up for a lot. Your cycling cards here, you got the Footfall Craters that you could potentially bring back to Trample and Haste, if you will. Drannith Healer, you might play this out because you gain 1 life every time you cycle if you're in an aggro matchup, so you could potentially put this over here with your cards you will probably be playing if you're in the aggro matchup. Startling Development, that one's actually also a really cool combat trick, but 9 out of 10 times you'll cycle it away. The way it's a combat trick is you create a power toughness base creature of 4/4 on like either your tokens, your fairies, a 4/4 flyer, or your Flourishing Fox. If it has a bunch of counters on it, it basically gets an extra 3 damage. Go for Blood, you'll cycle this or you use this as a combat trick to take out one of your opponent's creatures. Frostveil and Boon the Witchgiver, 9 out of 10 times you'll be cycling these as well. Lands are pretty straightforward. I got all the pathways, I got the triomes, and then 3 basics. Sideboard, 2 Redcap Melees if I go up against mono red or expect a couple dragons. 2 Shadow Spears in the aggro matchup if they have a lot of creatures, or in the mirror. I like this because it gives your creature trample, so they can't keep blocking you with their little tokens if you have a massive Flourishing Fox on the board. 1 Glass Casket to take out like a Lovestruck Beast or a Bonecrusher Giant. Skyclave Clerics, this one is like kind of questionable, if you will, but you can put this in your deck against aggro, and if you find yourself not needing it, you play it out as a land. If you do find yourself needing it, you can play it, and if it dies, you can bring it back with Lurrus, and that's an additional 2 life every time, so that's kind of nice. 2 Negates and 2 Neutralizes, those are mainly for your control decks, and then 3 Shredded Seals if I expect artifacts or if they, again, have dragons. Nice thing about Shredded Seals and Neutralize, why those are kind of my favorites in this whole list, is because they also cycle. They cycle for 2, which is less ideal, but they cycle nonetheless. So, that's the list. Let's get into some games. Alright, we're playing against Wild Worm. In case you haven't noticed, I'm rocking a Power Dragon shirt. Power Dragon is a channel I like to watch, and a gentleman I like to interact with on Twitter. He also has a Twitch channel. If you do not follow him, you definitely should. And if you like my videos, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If there's decks you'd like to see me play, let me know. I love building decks. This one is obviously one of my net decking ones. I did not build this one myself. I do not know who to give credit for it because it looks like everybody pretty much plays the same version. Sideboard might be a little different. I did tweak the sideboard to my own liking, but I'm sure it's not far off from what others would play. But yeah, if you have an idea of what you would like me to play, let me know. I play different decks all the time. Part of that's why I'm at the bottom of Platinum right now. I've had a very unfortunate streak, especially when it comes to lands, but also because I experiment a lot. And I don't very rarely experiment in unranked, so might get the free win here, waiting on my opponent. Well, that should not be a hard decision, whether you will play first or not. Alright, my opponent made a decision. This is a very keepable hand. Basically, what I always look for is I want to have something, either this, or the Flourishing Fox by turn 2. Otherwise, I do not want to keep it. So, keep. They play Urion, so I might actually start out with the Valiant Rescuer, so I can start attacking for 3 damage. A Temple of Plenty. So this is probably an Abzan list. So I'm expecting a lot of really annoying cards like Skyclave Apparition. Really the main annoying one I expect. Okay, so let's play this. Could have been right to play one of these so I could already go ahead and cycle, but not in a rush to put stuff in the bin just yet. I don't expect them to be a quick deck. The only thing I'm worried about is a Scavenging Ooze right now. Boon of Mortality to draw a card, okay. That is one dangerous land now, in case you had not noticed. So now it's an interesting choice. I got the Flourishing Fox, the Valiant Rescuer, and the Improbable Alliance. I'm not casting this, I already knew that, but the Valiant Rescuer or the Flourishing Fox are both interesting, because the Flourishing Fox could already get big. Now, I will go ahead and play the Valiant Rescuer, because if it doesn't die this turn, and I get to unkeep with it, it's more damage than I would have with the Flourishing Fox right away. Unless I would devote everything on Flourishing Fox, which is not smart in a matchup against black, because they will be destroying some of your creatures. I just hope they'll be destroying them and not exiling them. Runeforge Champion. Okay, I've played against a list like this before. This is basically an Abzan enchantment list. So they're going to have a lot of enchantments, enchantment payoffs, and they can actually pack a punch. Very cool list. I actually really like what they play. So here I might actually want to go wide instead of big with the Flourishing Fox. Go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and cycle. If I do not cycle now, then I won't be drawing my second card in their turn, so I kind of have to cycle now. I am going to go ahead. Do I attack? They're going to put this on, so this is going to grow bigger. I'm going to have trample, so I probably should attack and see if they trade. If they trade, I'm totally fine with that. I already have another threat on the board. The main card that I'm afraid of being in this deck is Elspeth's Nightmare, because that exiles my list, or my graveyard. And we do not like anything exiling. Okay, so that's going to be 3 damage. I am going to go ahead and take that. And lifelink, okay. This card is actually incredibly powerful. I have a Naya version I really like to play, but this Abzan Urion deck. Oh my goodness, that's one swole boy already. Yeah, trample, no point in blocking. Wow, okay. Let's go ahead and... I think my only chance here is to go big with a Flourishing Fox so I can trade with it. Go ahead and cycle you. If I draw another cycler, I'll play out the land that I can play next turn. It's a 2-mana cycler, that's really unfortunate. So I think I'm just going to play the Raugrin Triome here. And do I attack with anything? I don't think so. I think I am going to sacrifice a lot of creatures here to block that Runeforge Champion and get it out of the way. If I can. Extinction Event on even would be really bad here. Because then I just have the Flourishing Fox. Ah, I need to stop calling these plays. Okay. Yep, that hurts. Starting over. Let's go ahead and play out this land as, there we go, this. Kind of have to. Alright, let's now just hope for a lot of cyclers. Need cycling cards. Okay, that's good. I'm going to hold on to that because if on the turn I cycle and I get to cycle twice, then I create 2 more tokens. It's really relevant. Attacking, so let's cycle. Yep. And that's a land. That's unfortunate. I do not get to create the other token, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I do know that I'm sacrificing them all. That's not smart. I should probably just keep the flyer. This way, at least the Runeforge champion could potentially die. If they have removal, then I just lose a lot of creatures, which they do not. Alright, that's a good trade. I'm okay with that. Thing is, with Jeskai Cycling, I think you need to not be afraid to just trade all your creatures. Currently, we have 6 cards in the bin, no cyclers. That's pretty rough. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Don't like to do it, but I kind of have to. And I'll discard a land. Go. Swing, little fairy! There's Doom Foretold. That kind of hurts, I'm not going to lie. I could take advantage of that, but I don't think I will. Not going to worry too much about it. So I'm definitely not going to play this out. Go ahead and just attack. At this point, I just need to get cards in the bin. Oh. So far, that's pretty good. That does not matter at all. I'm going to hold on to that because I might just throw a Zenith Flare at him. And potentially the next turn I can finish him. Okay. That's fine. That's what I'm gonna discard they can't really do anything with. What is that? When Rune Crown enters the battlefield, you may search your library hand and your graveyard for a Rune card. Battlefield attached to Rune Crown. Interesting. I had never seen that before. I mean, I'm sure I opened it in a pack, but... Now, do I kill Turgid or just go face? I think I just go face, right? If I draw a card, then they're done for. Or draw a land, then they're done anyway. So let's just go face. Let's do that. Boop you. It's fine. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oh, I can't count anyway. Sure, we'll discard that. Discard. I can't count. I thought I had more lands. But that's okay. Oh my goodness. I kind of feel bad for my opponent. Except for that I don't. Okay. Let's just go ahead and put this in my hand. No, I'm not going to put this in my hand because then I can't cast Zenith Flare. So now we're just going to slowly kill them. They are going to gain some life from Turgid, which is kind of a bummer. Unless I kill Turgid. Might do that so they don't gain the life. That might be worth it. Okay, go ahead and attack. And say bye-bye Turgid. Another Doom Foretold, that's actually quite bad. And another Doom Foretold. Oh wow. Okay, so I'm going to actually play this on now, otherwise I lose it. 6, 8, 10. Wow, that's... I'm out of Zenith Flare, so that's actually pretty bad. They definitely had a God Draw there, that's for sure. I don't know what I can draw now that was... Pretty sure I'm already done for, because I'm not going to break through with any of my creatures, so I'm going to go ahead and concede. They have too much removal at that point. I'm going to bring in the Neutralizes and take out these guys. Do I cut one of these? I think it goes away pretty easily, so let's just get rid of that one too. That way I don't lose too many cheap cyclers. And let's bring in... That's not too relevant. Maybe I bring in a negate. That might be good. Let's do that. See what happens. Yep, I would love to play first. Opening up with the Flourishing Fox is fantastic. I would love to get another untapped land here, but we shall see. Maybe it would be good to start with the Raugrin Triome. So that way I can at least cycle with this on the board so they can't Heartless act it. So let's say I play this, play the Flourishing Fox, they'll get a second land on the board before I get a chance to respond, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. There we go. So now I am definitely playing that. So let's go ahead, Flourishing Fox. Always be careful when you play cycling that you don't accidentally cycle something you want to play. Let's go ahead and bring you out, and pass the turn. Now, I'm hoping they play Heartless Act, because then I can just respond with cycling, and then it doesn't resolve. I don't even know if they run Heartless Act, honestly. Might not. Well, they pick out their own basics. I like that. I appreciate that. Okay, so they're going to go for drawing a card. Now we are going for cycling this guy away. Nope. Sweet. Would have loved an untapped land, but we don't get it. Let's go ahead and just cycle then. And untapped land now. No, still no. No, we'll just go ahead and cycle again. And attack. So 4. Not bad, not bad. Let's play the Triome. So the nice thing if you play Boros instead of Jeskai is that you get to be a lot more aggressive because you have no untapped lands. But I think the nice thing about Jeskai is being able to go wide with the amount of removal that is currently in the format. There's another version that, if you go back to my Ikoria playlist, you'll see that I played a Mardu version. I think that was by Ken Yokohiro. And that's a really cool version with Footlight Fiends, because you put so many of your creatures in the graveyard. The Footlight Fiends... Oh, sorry, Footlight Fiend. Arclight... What's the name of that dang thing? Fiend? Artisan Fiend. Wow, I knew it was a fiend of some kind. Artisan Fiend. Artisan Fiends gets really big. Also, it had... didn't have Lurrus as the companion, so you get to play some of the other cool cycling cards. Like... There's one that, if you cycle it for 2, it allows you to put a lifelink counter on a creature, which if you have a big Flourishing Fox, is really quite nice. Let's go ahead and put you on the board. I'm going to play my Drannith Stinger. And I'm going to keep the gate open. I might be wrong, but I might be too cautious here. But I can always cycle at their Ancept to make Flourishing Fox bigger. So right now they have 3 lands, I'll probably go to 4. It's kind of hard to see these with the enchantments because I'm used to those being mana rocks of some kind. I'm going to go ahead and negate that. There we go. Definitely wanted to land there. Let's play this. So now I got 5 lands. I'm going to attack for 6. I'm going to attack for 7, 8. I think I have lethal. So let's cycle. This will be 5. Yeah, that's lethal. So we'll swing for 7. Boopity boop. Shoot him for 4. It's all good. That's how fast it can go. Okay, I would love another game like that. Let's do it. I think the first one just went way too slow and had their removal too fast. Which that's, my opponents are not allowed to do that. You're not supposed to have removal that fast. What were you thinking, opponent? Also, I am on Twitter, so if you would like to follow me on Twitter, I often post deck lists. I much more frequently post deck lists than I do videos or anything like that, so if you'd like to follow me there, definitely do it. I only post a deck list if I had at least some kind of success with it. This is going to be the weirdest keep ever. 1 land, but it can play the Flourishing Fox, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Could be a bad idea, but I am playing red, so I should at least hashtag YOLO a little bit. Alright, Wild Worm, what you got? I do really like their list. I've played against it once before, and I was playing a Banjo-Ryan brew that I built myself, that I might have to revive at some point because it was a lot of fun. And that was such a long game. We actually both got down to a very low clock. See, never punch. But it was an awesome back and forth. It was. I ended up winning mainly because my opponent timed out. Otherwise, it probably could have gone either way. They won the first one, I won the second one, and the third one was very close back and forth. But I had 2.5 minutes left as they timed out, so if that tells you something about how the games went. It was pretty cool. But their list, yeah, I've seen it before. It's very cool. I like it a lot. Let's go ahead and play this as a blue. We're just going to go ahead and start cycling. Cycling. Let's go ahead and cycle you. And send us a semi-swole Flourishing Fox at my opponent. I'm curious what they're going to do. Okay, could be removal. Nope, it's not. Sweet. Let's go ahead and play you. Got some more threats on the board. And I am not going to play you out anyway. I might play the Go for Blood if they play that Rune guy again. Especially with how swole this guy is. Got my mana. Right now I'm looking pretty good. As long as they don't have another Duress. So I have a long way to go. This is only 3 Cyclers in the bin right now. If they exile this, that would be unfortunate. Like, that's the thing with cycling. I don't really mind if they die. If they kill my creatures. Because, again, that adds up to my Zenith Flare. So, let's go ahead and... I'm not going to bring that back yet. I'm not that much in a hurry. Go ahead and do this. Another Zenith Flare. That's pretty sweet. And... I'm going to hold off on cycling the other 2. Because if I cycle the other 2 on their turn, I will get another fairy. If I would cycle one of them on my turn and I don't get a cycler for it back, and I'm the same bad luck with this one, then I will not get a fairy because I have to draw 2. Draw your second card each turn. That's something to always think about. Okay, there's the champion. Might just kill that, depending on what all they decide to equip to it. Okay, so they're going to put the life linker on it. Definitely don't want them to gaining a life. Right now, we don't have... Not too worried about it. Oh my goodness, there's all my Zenith Flares again. Granted, you draw like crazy with this deck, so it's not super unreal that you have so many Zenith Flares. But it is kind of wild in this case. So I will probably just ignore the fact that they can gain life. Simply because I can just hit him for lethal here. Obviously this turn is not lethal, but I'm going to shoot him here, and I'm going to shoot him again with the Zenith Flare. Going to go down to 2. They're going to gain some life. Even if they play 2 Dooms, I'm still fine. That's fine. They're not going to gain life from that just yet. So this game is... I don't think they can do anything to make this game... Yeah, no, they're done for. But kudos to them. They play a really cool deck. I've seen it before, like I've said. And I might actually have to try that one out. I've beaten it every time, but it just feels very strong. It feels like it can really unload on an opponent. That's the only rune I probably would not include, because that one is just straight up garbage. I mean, sure you draw a card, and sure it's an equipment, but other than that, it's just straight up garbage. That rune is not good. Sorry. Yeah, you probably want the Succession Champion in this deck. The previous person I played against had it. I don't know if this one does. We're going to go up to 12. Fine. Go down to 5. Definitely don't attack on their turn. I just go straight for the Zenith Flare and say game over. Game opponent. So, yeah, that's how it can go. Honestly, that's how both games can go. Against aggro, it's a little more difficult if they put a lot of pressure on you earlier. You definitely want to keep that in mind. So yeah, that's the deck for you. I enjoy cycling. I think it's interesting sometimes the decisions you have to make when it comes to, do I cycle this, do I play this. I think the biggest thing is your opening hand. You want your opening hand to be somewhat aggressive. You need to develop your game early on. Don't rely too much that you will draw what you need if you have a slow start. You do not want to do that. You want to open up with some of these guys. Don't be afraid to have to mulligan, because you will be able to cycle cards and keep your hand pretty steady. Um, Personally, I liked my Mardu version better because I felt it had a little bit more depth. This feels a little bit more straightforward in how you play it, but it is very powerful right now. If you just want a good, solid deck for either a tournament or for the ladder, this is good. Just again, keep in mind the aggro matchups could be difficult, and there's a lot of aggro right now. Ultimatum decks, you'll eat their breakfast, and same with. There's one other aggro deck that's actually not that bad with this one. That's Naya Fling. But mono red and mono white, they're tough to beat. But fun list. I enjoyed it a lot. If you like my video, again, like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and hopefully soon I'll be able to get another list out to you guys. All right. Thanks so much.